should keep your lips sealed. And everybody's grinding, but it's mainly for bills. Music's just a platform and I'm just flexing my skills. Got me thinking about the future and it's giving me chills. If this ain't what the people want, I must be sleep at the wheel. So I hold on, for my life I cannot let go. I got people who depend on me. So go ahead, you can knock our style, but you can never bring.
Test, 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 test. Do I need to yell, Arda? Or is it good? Hello? Test, 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 test. I'll probably have to yell at Misky because she's not going to hear me over this music. Yeah. Test, 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 test.
Yeah, said I'm.
It's good.
Misky and Michael?
That might just be I would go wide by the announcement and y'all get up there, and then if he's gonna be in the middle, I would assume that it's right. So here's all the way down.
I want to go around.
Yeah, go around. Sound issues. Check, check. Testing. 1, 2, 3. We are live. School in the north side of Minneapolis. This is the Black America Forum. Check, check. The music is on.
I'm ready right now.
Nico, get to the camera.
So just a heads up, I'm gonna like ask you how you feel about the fact that.
This is Nico reporting from Unicorn Riot. We are live at Patrick Henry High School, as I said earlier. Right now we are reporting from the press booth, and I'm checking off for a moment. We have a host.
solid, yeah. Don't worry about it. Anything that happens like off stage, me and Mike will take care of it. That's the good part of having 3 cameras, right? If you ain't covering 3, then it ain't gonna be covered. What is this?
I'm an anxious news, gangster view, Langston Hughes that paid his dues when banks refuse. So parade his coons and play the fools. The Jakes assume our ace producers make your moves out the bando. I'll be with Banda, bandana tied on my Rambo. Lace the crew up in camo, smile for the camera. Planning to ride till I can't go black mode.
If their goal is integration, it's not a worthwhile one. But if their goal is freedom, justice, and equality, then that's a worthwhile goal. If integration is going to give freedom, complete justice, and complete equality, then it's a worthwhile goal.
And they say, okay, to get along in American society, you have to be a sellout. You have to put on a suit, talk like a white man, ask for what white people want, say what white people like to be successful. And young black people don't see that as something that they want to strive for. We want to be able to be who we are, talk how we talk, walk how we walk, live how we want to live, and be producers and providers for our children in the future. We want to be African.
Check, check. You do an intro?
What?
Do an intro?
Nobody's there.
Hey, Minneapolis! If you can hear my voice, clap one time. Hear my voice, go ahead and clap 2 times. I am Mike Griffin. I'm the field director with a group called Neighborhoods Organizing for Change. And a chant that we started at our old office, I say, who are you? You scream out powerful people. I say, who's ready to change the world? You scream out, we will. Who are you, powerful people? Who's ready to change the world? We will. Who are you? Who's ready to change the world? I said, who are you, folks? Who's ready to change the world? Who are you? Who's ready to change the world? Look at all my beautiful black faces out here. If you are ready to have a conversation about black lives with Senator Sanders, make some noise. If you are ready to stand up and say Black Lives Matter, make some noise. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. We all know what happened before Christmas, before the holidays. They have have returned and said they're going to a grand jury. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if tomorrow don't get it, if tomorrow don't get it, if tomorrow don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it. When I say Black Lives, you say matter. Black Lives, 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 Black Lives. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, if tomorrow don't get it, if tomorrow don't get it, it's up. Okay, we had a drill team here. Give it up for the young kids, for the S&G drill team. One of my good friends and one of the founders of Black Lives Matter right here in Minneapolis. Give it up for me.
First of all, I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for waiting out in the cold. Thank you for making and showing up to this important event. I don't think in the history of Minnesota have we ever seen a presidential candidate visit North Minneapolis before. So let's give it up right now. And the fact that there is all these beautiful people here of all different right here. Okay? This is what happens when Minneapolis is because it tells us that we shouldn't love ourselves. This world tells recognizing who we are and recognizing humanity across the board for everybody. Cis, heterosexual men lives matter, though they do. We talking about black trans lives. We're talking about black women's lives. We're talking about those that may be disabled and black. We talking about everybody. This is not one thing. This is about everyone. So as we do this chant, I need y'all to get into this. I need y'all to feel this. Us putting power to the universe. That's us putting the truth into what we want to see happen in this world, all right? So when we say this, you got to say it like you mean it, all right? I believe we will win. I believe that we. I believe that we will win. We will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe we go.
About 15 minutes away from in Minnesota. I've been waiting. We have been waiting. We have been waiting for a political revolution. And we will get that political revolution through powerful people. I say, who are you?
How y'all doing? That's right. Black people in the building. Black people are the agenda. And we're here to make sure people understand what we want and what this is about. Now let me clarify one thing. When you hear the term black people, I've never seen Republicans and Democrats agree on. And then there's this ashamed for someone who took over 400 proof of that exploitation shows up in things like for living conditions and quality of So while we're here today, I want you all to remember one thing. We have the blood, the sweat, the tears. And now that we sit here in 2016, students all across the state, hardworking community members all across the state, and now that we have the opportunity, or better yet, now that they have the opportunity to come and see what you think, what's important to you, and what you need. One person, we learned that from Barack Obama. We have Congress people, senators, all these other positions that need to adhere and acknowledge the fact that we need to follow the same protocol. Commission France to pay. For two, and so there was a protocol to make sure that they got. Now here we are. And we're still asking. Say that Black Lives Matter, that you should be the loudest champion for reparations for black.
you got power. Hey. Your head up.
Take me down to where the worlds collide and leave me here till I'm satisfied. There'll come a day when all of us will show we won't be afraid. Although we're crashing, we won't burn. Let the revolution begin.
And we need to be heard, and that's why a Black forum is necessary to hear what our opinions.
Let's treat this town like we own it. And baby, if you wanna get out, you can drive this car like you stole it. Like we're runaways, like we're superstars, like we're fireworks burning in the dark. That's the way that we're doing it,
Check. 1, 2. We are live. This is Unicorn Riot doing a little bit of maneuvering and checking. Audio check, 1, 2.
Yeah, we're just going to do an interview with her really quick.
He was like, you can't be here. This is press only. I was like, you can talk to them. I don't give a shit about standing up here. I got to see them over there.
Check, 1, 2.
Hey, this is Danielle Green here, again reporting for Unicorn Riot. I'm standing here with Misky. She's with Black Lives Matter Minneapolis. I'm not sure how much time we have exactly before someone else take the
Not waiting any longer, and we need to be heard, and that's why a Black forum is necessary to hear what our opinions.
them our concerns and like with the Black Lives Matter movement that's happening right now. Do you think it's really important that they are making these appearances and doing these types of forums?
Yeah, the very least they need to do is show up and hear what Black people have to say about this country and the direction in which we are going in, the concerns that are leading us to be, the concerns that we have about police. So the very least they can do is show up and hear these concerns so that we can move forward in a way that Black people see fit to move forward.
Right. And as for Bernie's opponent, Hillary Clinton, who's also up against him for the Democratic nomination, do you feel like she's doing all that she can to sort of address the concerns of the Black Americans?
At this point, Black America is basically ignoring Hillary Clinton. She's not listening to us. She's not saying anything different than her husband, who put a So we're not listening.
Agree with you more. So do you think that a space in the American politics for a democratic socialist president?
Definitely.
Yeah, it looks like we might be starting again. It looks like we might.
I'll answer that.
Never mind. Space
space. We need to create more space so that we're having even more radical politics, because the status quo of just these two parties is not doing it for us. I'd love to see a third party come into this. I'd love to see more. We need a diversity of politics, a diversity of opinions, with people of color and specifically black people leading that agenda. So I'm excited to see it.
All right, so there you have it. That is Miss Q with Black Lives Matter Minneapolis, giving you guys her opinion about Bernie Sanders' candidacy, as well as the current political binary that we have here in America.
All right, cool. I did it. All right, I love y'all. Thank you so much. Yeah. Can you go? Free cake fans. I'm gonna go sit down, get up out the way.
Thank you. Video glitches going on, and that's just what we deal with in this zone. I would like to add that we are at Unicorn Riot, a 501c3 nonprofit media collective. Within that, anything that you are able to donate is tax deductible. I bring that up because we are all volunteer operated. None of the Unicorn Riot Ninjas get any money. None of the money that we get from support goes into our pockets. It goes straight into the collective, and we use it to create better things for you all. For instance, if you go to unicornriot.ninja and go to our live stream page, our live channel page, from that live channel page you are able to see what is happening right now instead of livestream.com. And that is one of the additions. That is one of the additions to us having some support from the community. That community support was directly related to the Justice for Jamar campaign, in which... Sorry, there's some media.
Way the hell up in the air.
So using live stream right now, as we are, it costs money through live stream. It costs money to get the stream up. It costs money to get the essential tethering spot. And look at this is what we were talking about. We have people moving. Maybe you can just move it down a little bit.
Down with the other you can't be late to the party and then
now we're like right in the middle of us. This is exactly what I was just talking about 5 minutes ago. This is the thing that we are having to deal with at this moment. Just walking in 5 minutes ago, we've been here for hours. So right here we have, this is the NBC Burlington crew. NBC, I must add, they have satellite feeds and whatnot. Somehow they are in the middle of blocking us and the Uptake, who's standing next to us. We are both live streaming independently, non-profit corporations. And essentially what we have is this NBC camera going right in our way. Is this still in the middle? So, going back to...
My head is or my camera is?
We're trying to get this figured out. Again, this is NBC. We are Unicorn Riot, independent, non-profit media.
You guys good?
And we may have figured something out. Hopefully you all can see. We're asking to get it lower to get a little bit more So in the meantime, I'm going to continue to talk. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live stream. Again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. And it looks like we're starting in a minute, and this is Anthony Newby from Knock that's coming up.
You guys can come down here.
They yelled at me earlier when I tried to do that. Trust me, I already tried to.
I know, but okay, now everybody's here. Okay, I'll see if I can find somebody from the campaign.
Do we need
Check. All right, how y'all doing? All right. My name is Anthony Newby, and I'm the director of Knock, Neighborhoods Organizing for Change. Senator Sanders is just arrived in the building. He and Keith Ellison came in at the same time, so they're both backstage, just got in, and we apologize for the delay, but we're going to get started. I want to welcome you all, before we get to Bernie, to Henry High School in North Minneapolis. It is not often that presidential candidates come to a high school in North Minneapolis. We want to thank Henry for opening their doors, and we want to thank folks in this room and of the black community in particular. The framing of the event, and I want to hurry up because I know we're on limited time. The framing of the event today is to talk about not just an investment strategy, a bold vision for America, or idealist socialist policies, which are all important. It is to talk about deliberate investment in communities that have been historically overlooked, starting with, and for the purposes of this conversation today, the black community, and the black community in Minnesota, the black community in America. The folks on the panel are deliberately and intentionally black American and have some slave descendant connection, because that is often overlooked when we start talking about people of color or the black experience. It is often a piece of the story and the narrative that is overlooked. So today, we're very deliberately starting with this group of folks, and I'm going to introduce them. To my left here is Rod Adams. Rod is a Chicago transplant, so moved from one under-resourced community in south side of Chicago to Minnesota, has worked as an under-resourced worker and low-wage worker, and is now an organizer with Knock, working with fast food workers, low-wage workers, and understands the issues of economic exploitation very well. Give it up for Rod. To his left is Ngeri. Ngeri's a dual-degree law and policy student at St. Thomas University. Don't let him fool you and tell you there's not students of color and black students that are doing big things out here. She's about to graduate with a law degree. Give it up for Ngeri. To her left, Ann Haynes. Ann identifies as black and Native American. Anybody here think Native American issues are often overlooked as well? Let's not forget we are on land that originally was owned by, occupied by Native Americans. So when we talk about reparations, it's important that we start with that story as well. And moving on down, Devon Nolan is a proud Henry patriot. Went to Henry High, grew up in North Minneapolis. Is also a brilliant activist, urban gardener, brilliant, and it's great to have you on the panel. To her left, Felicia, another brilliant mother, artist, entrepreneur, designer, Northside resident, also a Henry patriot. So I'm going to stop there. Keith Ellison is going to come out He's going to say a few words. Keith took a risk by talking about issues of Wall Street and Wall Street accountability, issues of equity, pay equity. Come on, Keith. Now, don't wait. Come on, man. A long time ago, before it was cool, give it up for Keith Ellison.
I got to pull these down after Anthony gets up there. How y'all doing out there? Well, it's good to see everybody. It's good to be in my own home and in my neighborhood. I jumped off an airplane and drove here fast as I could because I wanted to see you and I wanted to see my dear friend Bernie Sanders. Now, let me tell y'all something. This is something I really want to just talk to you about. People have asked me, why do you support Bernie Sanders? And I said, well, you know, when I was out there with workers, black workers, Latino workers, Native American workers, immigrant workers, and they were saying we need 15 and a union. I looked to my left and I looked to my right and I saw one senator. That senator was Bernie Sanders. Now I'm telling you, when they started talking about 15 in the union, people say, what are you talking about? We're talking $9, maybe 10. Bernie's like, no, 15 in the union. When I look for somebody to drop a bill in for 15, Bernie Sanders. Now listen, this is not necessarily a cheer point. I need you to focus right here. What I'm saying is, when we were saying that the dramatic over-incarceration of all Americans, especially black and brown Americans, and the United States government should not be contracting with the private prison industry, Bernie Sanders called me and said, I'm going to drop a bill in, will you join me? I said, absolutely we will. You understand what I'm saying to you right now? When somebody is doing the work, putting themselves on the line to fight excessive incarceration and profiteering in incarceration, to raise the wage. Oh, and did I mention expansion of Social Security? A few years ago, they wanted to have something that would literally cut Social Security. And you know, Social Security is not just for seniors. It's for people on survivor benefits, and it is for people with disabilities. Bernie Sanders talked about expanding Social Security. So, and I also just want to say that you look around and you say, who's here going to help? And Bernie is in the front of the line. So, look, you now have an opportunity to vote for somebody to be the president of the United States who believes in true racial justice and equity. You have somebody who will stand to raise the wage of the American
back
people.
Live. Hang on a second. I got to get the monitor going.
Debt-free college, although he's talking
Not
about
my computer monitor.
Free college. Now,
I'm actually using a Roku with a TV.
Not a pipe dream for Denmark or Germany, right? Why can they do it and we cannot do it? Look, this is not a no you can't campaign. This is not a diminish your dreams kind of campaign. This is a believe in what the possibilities that we can do together kind of campaign. And anybody who starts telling you, oh, that's unrealistic, we can't do that. Let me tell you, 8 years ago, when you voted for Barack Obama, did you do it because of what he told you was not possible? Or did you vote for him because he said, yes, we can, and projected a bold vision? That's what's happening right now. This is the right campaign if you believe this country can be better than it was. And it's not saying that Obama's not a great president. I support President Obama, but I'm telling you this, we can do better, right? And who wants to do better? Anybody want to fight student debt around here? Anybody want to put real investment? Let me tell you, Bernie is the only one I'm hearing talking about really dealing with this real unemployment rate, not just the unemployment rate they say they got, but the one where people are underemployed, not working, and people just left the workforce because there's no real opportunity. He's talking about getting at that. So you know what, guys? This is a moment in history where we can grab this thing and run. And I want to ask you to do it with me. Bernie Sanders, everybody.
let me begin by thanking Congressman Keith Ellison. And I'm thanking him not just for his support and active participation on my campaign. I'm thanking him for being as strong a supporter in the United States Congress as any member of that Congress for working people, for civil rights, and for social justice. Keith, thank you so much. Well, thank you all very much for inviting me to be with you. And let me be brief and get to the point. And the point is we got some serious problems facing our country, and together we had better get around the business of trying to resolve them. And let me begin by telling you what no other presidential candidate will tell you. No president, not Bernie Sanders or anyone else, is going to be able to solve the crises facing this country alone. You know why? Here's the reason why. The reason why is that Wall Street, corporate America, the corporate media, the large campaign donors have so much power in this country over our economy and over our political life that the only way we make change is through a political revolution when millions of people come together. Together to demand something that really is not that radical. It is to have a government that represents all of us and not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors. Now, people have said, Bernie, your ideas are last 30 years, there has been a massive redistribution of wealth in America. Problem is, it's gone in the wrong direction. It's gone from the pockets of working people to the top 1/10 of 1%. Top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Families are working such long hours, 58% of all new income is going to. So one of the tenets of our Wall Street, say to corporate America in this country, you know what? You are going to start paying your fair share of taxes. Youth unemployment. You know what it is? 51. That ain't right at all. So I'll tell you what, an education and make it on $8 an hour. Alongside of workers who need that 15. This country are struggling to send their kids Yeah, they have free college. Well, you know what I think? I think in America, first talking about I want, I grew up in a family that never had a lot of money. My parents didn't go to college. What I want to see is that every kid in America who that kid deserves the opportunity regardless of the income of that family.
Fun stuff. I wish I could set this up. There we go.
I have all over
Wish I could say that in the Roku. There might be a way, but I don't know how to.
Deeply in debt
from
student
okay,
loans.
do it that
Anybody
way.
here in debt
Anyway.
Whoa. All right, what you got?
They are coming. With standoff over, FBI initiates mass arrests of 2014 ranch protesters. They are coming for you, ranchers. Ranchers, go home, stay home, wherever you are. Militia, go to the ranchers. Get your binoculars out and look out. They are coming for the ranchers. I don't know how else to say it. If you don't believe me, fine. But you see, I have some skin in the game because I eat. So I'm telling you, please, ranchers, stay home. I'm telling you, please, militia, surround the ranchers. Now, I'm saying the rest of America needs to get up, get off your butt, turn off the TV, and go and protest physically. If you're protesting, hold a sign in one hand, hold your cell phone in the other while you're calling your representatives. Please. Our government is no longer our government. Don't you understand? They are attacking us. If you fall for this trap, we're screwed. We're all screwed. Think with your minds, not with your hearts. Please. You can get mad at me. You can unsubscribe. I don't care. I'm not in it for subscriptions. I am in this to get my country back. Although in my lifetime, I've never had a country. Some of you are starting to realize it, but just watch the videos. Oh my goodness. Just from Bombshell on the thugs in the streets of Burns. Watch all of them. You'll see. It's unfolding. Please, farmers, go home. Farm. You have no business out there. Your job is to protect your assets, which just coincide with my assets. I want you to have a farm. I want you to have a ranch. I want to eat. So please, please heed the warning. Please, this is your call of duty. Ranchers, you're called. Go back to your ranches. Farm. Militia, you're called. Go protect the farmers. Everyone else, get out there and protest. Call. Do something that is right. This is not going to stop until we unify. Someone has got to step up with leadership that thinks with their mind and not with their heart. I'm begging you. Anyway, this is Call of Duty Goddess signing off. And as always, I'll leave the links for these. There's 2 of them, 2 articles. I'll leave the links for these. I've got your 6.
I kind of like this lady. She does a pretty good job, and I do like her message, and I fully believe just as she had said, and that, by the way, was Call of Duty Goddess. You know, it's not about views. It's really not about views. I'm not in it for that either. I'm not, you know. The people that are in it for views are the people that do the doom porn constantly, or they, you know, one thing or another. I'm not very politically correct. I wouldn't say that I'm very well spoken. I'm just me, and I'm hoping that, you know, the honesty in me comes out to you guys, because again, it's not about views. It's about trust, and that's my biggest goal, is to gain your trust and show you and prove to you that won't be unheard, and it won't be taken advantage of. like I've said a million times, it's not time to run for the hills, but if you hear me say run for the hills, you better start running. I'm one of those people. I don't get really excited over stuff too easily. So, and Bella, I did want to address you on something. Jen shared your email with me, the one you sent to her, and you do have full right to prosecute. So, I know you're in a different country, and but it pretty much doesn't matter. You can report it to YouTube. You can demand that action be taken. So, and I'll leave it at that. So, but yeah, that's uncalled for. I don't expect any one of the mods or any one of the guests here to have to deal with that. So that was totally uncalled for. Sometimes these keyboard commandos, they're just not very bright. There are laws that protect people from direct threats like that, and threats of violence directly against a human being. And here in the United States, they take those laws pretty seriously. They really do. It's just a lot of people don't report it. So, but I guarantee you, reporting it does good. I imagine Toasted's not going to be real happy here real soon. So, because I did choose to report what he did when he decided to go on a banning spree. So, and I'm sure there's still people banned that didn't deserve a ban, from him. So, if you guys are out there and you can't chat in the chat room, go to thewatchmannews.com, scroll down all the way to the bottom of the page. You'll see the About Me. I'm Mike Callahan. Just click the About Me. It'll take you to another page to where you will have a contact form. You click contact form. The form will come down on your screen and let me know. So anyway, well, it happened earlier, Shalia. So I sure hope I'm saying your name right, hon. I think it's Shelia, but I can't be certain. So that's what's going on as far as Call of Duty Goddess is concerned. There are lots of threats that are going on. So and I wasn't talking about the threats in chat. I was talking about the threats towards humanity. I'm not just going to put it against ranchers, truth tellers, whatever the case. I mean, it's a war against humanity. Let's not mistake what's going on here. And that's why I keep urging people, we have to stop worrying about all the little arguments. Well, I want rights for this. I want rights for that. I want these little, and I'm not saying that they're little things. I'm not saying that our individual rights are little things. But what people are failing to understand is they shouldn't have to fight for those little rights. We should have a big right, a right to be ourselves in our own body, our own living, breathing human bodies that was taken away from us. We have that right. They can't take that right away. They just make us think that they can regulate it, that they can make us think that they can permit it. They don't have the right to take that from us to begin with. And that's what we have to take back. Elmick, yes, I am. I don't know if you're asking me on a personal basis or on a Facebook page basis. Here's our Facebook page. That would be the link for our Facebook page. Oh, wow. Right, let me reply to that real quick. Oh, man. There's a video that I wanted to play today, and but I want to put it out as a clip, and I'm going to need a moment to be able to get that window set up so that it's not you only see the video and not my personal Facebook stuff. So. Oh, personal? Yeah, it's pretty much just as easy, Mick. Hang on. That's my personal Facebook. So, that is loud. I gotta mute some tabs. Ow. There we go. I hit those two people that sent requests. Sorry guys, I'm trying to. Oh, okay. I'm trying to. Jen apparently dropped her phone and she's having issues with getting it to charge. So. Oh. Oh crap. Oops. All right. Let me try to wade my way back around screen. Sorry about that. That would be the second device she's had broken today. So. Let me get back to what I was doing. It's hard when I kind of get pulled away from something when I'm on something. It's kind of hard to. That's why I actually had to wind up taking action about an individual that kept calling me over and over and over. Woke Jen up late at night last night, and I actually had to block somebody's number because of it. It was ridiculous. Yesterday, if you were paying attention, I was constantly answering the phone while I was trying to perform a live show, and it would happen to be this individual, and it's like, no more. It's done. It's over. You know. Like I say, I don't by any means try to carry on some kind of crazy professional stuff, but a little bit of courtesy. But, I'm just trying to do my best. So I'm trying to find, BP Earthwatch has an interesting video out. And I really believe a lot of that is going on with what he's reporting, but I am looking for something else. Oh, the other day, I'll just play this for just just because. The other day I played some stuff from Sustenance and Covering. It was actually it was like Bible kind of lesson stuff, and it got way better. I had way better results from playing it than I thought I would. I thought a lot of people were going to be screaming blasphemy, and that didn't happen. I was actually speechless. I was shocked at how well received this man was. So he released a video, I think it was today. Well, it was 12 hours ago. So, this isn't a Bible lesson or anything like that. This is him just talking about his forest projects. And I think sometimes that stuff is just as interesting as news, and it's kind of it takes a little break away from the craziness, even though I haven't yet covered a whole lot of news. So here's Sustenance and Covering and his forest projects. He sometimes can be rather humorous, just in the way he goes about things. I love the guy. I think he's great.
Hello and welcome to another video from the only channel that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse, but actually enjoy it. And today's video is going to be a walk around tour of my property again. It hasn't been long since we did the last one, but a lot of things have taken place. And in fact, one of the things that's taken place is that I've been sleeping in the tent without
living in a competitive global economy is to encourage people to get all of the education that they need. Right? That makes sense. It's good for the people, it's good for our country. Why are we punishing people, forcing them to pay off debt for decades for the crime? Give me a break. So what we're going to do is allow people with student debt to refinance at the lowest possible interest rates, cutting student debt very, very significantly. Here's another issue that I think many of you are familiar with. There is one country in the industrialized world that does not guarantee right of all people, not a privilege. Affordable Care Act has made some good progress. I voted for it to help write it. But we can do better, and that's why I support a Medicare for All single-payer program. Guarantee health care to all people, save middle-class families $5,000 a year. Now, when we talk about the needs of the American people, what we have got to understand is we will not be successful unless we come together as one people. All right, here's the truth. The truth is that some and billions America, huge amounts of money. Now, there are who want to divide us up. I mean, these are the guys who try to humiliate the President of the United States by saying he was not born in America. This is the kind of guy who is saying that Latinos, Mexicans coming into this country are rapists and criminals and drug dealers. This is the kind of guy who says we should keep Muslims out of this country. All of this stuff has gone on for a long time. It's not just Trump. The way they succeed is they divide us up, black against white, gay against straight, people born in this country against people who were not born in this country, men against women. So our job is to come together, black and white, Latino, Native American, Asian Americans, not let them divide us up. Now let me tell you, when I talk about issues of concern in this country, I am talking about doing everything humanly possible to end institutional racism and a broken criminal justice system. Now, what do I mean about a broken criminal justice system? This is what I mean. I mean that some kid in Minnesota gets picked up today for possessing marijuana. That kid will get a police record. Somebody on Wall Street whose company, whose financial institution has just paid $5 billion in settlement with the United States government for defrauding the American people and doing illegal activity that's almost destroyed the entire economy. You know what that person gets? A large compensation package. That is not a criminal justice system which is based on justice. So together we are going to create that kind of system. What does that mean? Well, it means a whole lot, and for more detailed information, you can go to my website, but let me just rattle off a few things. Number one, it means that we will not continue to tolerate unarmed people, often African Americans, being shot by police officers. Now, I was a mayor of a city for 8 years, worked hard with our police department. Here's the truth. Vast majority of police officers are hardworking, honest people. But, and they have a very difficult job to do. It ain't an easy job. But, when a police officer breaks the law, like any other public official, that officer must be held accountable. Number two, we have got to end the militarization of local police departments. Police departments should not look like occupying armies. They should be part of the community, not intimidating the community. Thirdly, we have got to make police departments look like the diversity of the communities they are serving. Fourthly, we have got to end over-policing in African American communities. Give you one example. Turns out that the black community are at about the same level of marijuana than whites. That doesn't make sense. And among other reasons, that's why I have introduced legislation that takes marijuana out of the Federal Controlled Substance Act. Too many lives have been lost. Too many people have suffered as a result of the so-called war on drugs. Time to rethink that. Today in America, we are seeing, and this is a tragedy so unspeakable, it's hard almost to discuss it. But today, a black male born today stands a 1 in 4 chance of ending up in jail. That is absolutely and totally unacceptable. And our job as a nation is to start investing in communities of need, communities of color, so that young people have the education, have the job training, have the health care that they need, so they can get, with an education, get their lives together. So we've got a lot of work in front of us, and no one person can do it alone. What we need are millions of people standing together, not letting our opponents divide us up for all kinds of dumb reasons, standing together to to say that in America, yeah, we are going to have a government that works for all of us, not just the few. That's why I'm running for president, and I thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words.
Where unemployment is well over 20%. Depending on the demographic, young black men, it's as high as 50%. Sure. So the economy isn't working for all of us. We're going to start with some questions and have you respond to how you would invest and think about this aspirational goal of a better economy, but with specific investment strategies. And we're going to start with Felicia, who is an entrepreneur, a small business owner. You heard a lot from the senator about an economy that works for everybody. I want to challenge you to speak about your own experience and ask your own question to that regard.
Can everybody hear me?
Try this one.
Can everyone hear me now? Can everyone hear me now?
There we go.
Great. This does not count towards my time. I'm trying to figure this out. Senator, my name is Felicia Perry. As he said, I'm a local small business owner, entrepreneur, artist, who I also consider entrepreneurs since we are a brand and part of our business. As a small business owner, I've participated in some financially empowering movements, such as the Northside Holiday Boutique, which was very successful this past winter. Things like this that support black business, and diligently I've been working toward making my work, my business, sustain my family. But for so many small business owners, federal programs are not culturally grounded, and they seem out of touch with people like me, melanated people. We have many barriers and obstacles for permits, for licensing. What I would like to know from you is how will you create and help create policies that create pathways for us rather than barriers?
Thank you, Felicia. If we are, and Anthony, when I talked about an economy that works for all, I am more than aware that this current economy does not work for all. Real unemployment nationally is 10%. For the African American community, it is way higher than that. And for young African Americans, it is literally off the charts, as I've mentioned. So, Felicia, what I think we have got to do, if we want to tackle the problem of youth unemployment, which I see as a major crisis, then I think we support black businesses, and I think we support small black businesses. You are more likely to be hiring kids in the neighborhood, is that correct? Okay, all right. Right, all right. Well, that's what we want to do. So I think what we want to do is to understand that instead of doing what we are currently doing, is giving huge tax breaks to multinational corporations, some of them making billions of dollars a year, pay nothing in taxes. How about providing tax breaks and subsidies to small businesses in high unemployment areas who are going to create local jobs? How's that? All right, that's the focus that we need. And I certainly, look, I want to say two things on this issue. Number one, when we talk about black youth unemployment, and this is for high school graduates, not kids who dropped out of high school. African American youth unemployment is 51%. Now, this is a human tragedy for kids who want to stand up on their own 2 feet and start becoming adults. But you know what else it is? When you have that kind of unemployment, kids are going to find something else to do. They may get in trouble and they're going to end up in jail. We spend $80 billion a year locking up Americans. More people in jail in America than any other country on earth. You know what? Instead of spending $80 billion locking up people, we can use some of those people to help small businesses create jobs.
This is great. So to that point, in locking up folks, we have a law student on the panel, knows a lot about the legal system and works with young folks. And Gary, can you ask a question related to your field, to the legal field? You're seeing folks coming in and out in a revolving door of the criminal justice system. Can you speak directly to the black experience and how it relates to the criminal justice system?
I can do that. Can you hear me? Okay. So thank you for coming to speak to us, Senator Sanders. We really appreciate it. And it's common knowledge that today more black men are in prison than were enslaved in 1850, which is a startling fact. It's something that we all know. We're still suffering from the effects of that. As a black law student, I'm forced to sit in classrooms and hear, ideologies that I don't see in practice today. It's hard to sit in a class and hear that the Constitution applies to everyone. I'm looking into the faces of people that don't have those constitutional rights acknowledged. So I want to ask about the criminal justice system as being a system of rehabilitation and not meeting that definition, what you will do to restore that. And in terms of aspiring to be president, what specific measures will you take to address the individual impact of incarceration and to ensure that those who are released have a real second chance and do not end up within the revolving door of recidivism?
Gary, is your name?
And Gary.
And Gary. Thank you. Excellent question. All right, look, it seems to me, when, as I mentioned a moment ago, we have more people in jail than China. Got it? China is 4 times our size. It is a communist authoritarian country. We have more people in jail than China. All right, so the first thing we have got to do is to do our best to keep people from getting into jail. Right? That's the first thing. And as I said before, I think education is important. We've got to put money into education, especially into those communities who need it the most. We should be doing everything we can to see the kids are not dropping out of school. We should be doing everything we can to see that those kids get jobs when they leave school. All right, that's number one. Number two, in terms of the rate of recidivism, you're absolutely right. I did a panel on this in Iowa a couple of months ago. And this is what we have. We have 2 guys, great guys, really wonderful human beings, both served time in jail. One guy described his situation. He said, I was told the day before I was going to be released. I was informed of that the day before. Then they gave me a check for $75, and they said, good luck. He ended up back in jail. So one should not be shocked to believe that if people don't have the job skills and the education that they need when they leave jail, where are they going to go? They're going to go back to the same environment that got them into jail in the first place, right? So our job is to invest to make sure that when people leave incarceration, they have the potential to build a new life outside of jail. We are not doing that right now. And where this is an interesting issue, where even conservatives are becoming on board. You know why? They see us spending huge amounts of money. Who gains? It costs a lot less money to send somebody to a university here in Minnesota than it is to send them to jail. All right? So we are doing a terrible job. Absolutely. But the bottom line is we have got to give people the job skills and the education and the resources that they need when they leave jail so they don't come back into jail. We're not doing that now. No way.
So I want to stick with this theme. Criminal justice is such a big bucket. There's no way one singular question can get to that. And there were some folks that couldn't make it on the panel. There were some structural barriers that even prevented folks from being on the panel. We know there are many, many barriers and obstacles. One of those folks is Jason Soul, who, while we're on the issue of criminal justice and criminal justice reform, I want to pass the mic, and if it's okay with somebody here, let's not let this wall be a barrier for folks who weren't allowed to get on the panel. Can somebody hand the mic to Jason Soul, who served real time, got out, got a PhD. And let's continue on this framing. That wall is not a barrier. Can you ask a question related to your personal experience?
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Thank all of you. I want to know, because intrinsically, I can feel the burn. I can feel it. But I can't manifest it in any physical way. I can't cast the ballot. What are you willing to do for people like me who are disenfranchised?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Who are silenced.
Somebody help me here, because I don't remember the exact number. But there's, and Jason, maybe you know it, there is an unbelievable percentage of African-American males who today... Do you know the number? Anyone know it?
I know it's 47,000 in Minnesota.
47,000 just in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
In states like Florida, Texas, it is off the charts. Okay? So what is the answer? Look, what criminal justice is supposed to be about is you committed a crime, you were found guilty, you pay the price. I'm not aware that paying the price includes taking away your rights to participate in a democratic society. I'm not aware of that. All right? You paid your price, right? All right? You're a citizen of the United States, correct? Yeah, you have the right to vote. As happens in my state of Vermont, felons can vote. I believe that should be the case all over America. It's an outrage. And let me tell you something. It's not only bad, it's not only a stupid and unfair idea. People pay the price. It's quite enough to spend time in jail, right? You don't have to lose your right to participate in the democracy. But don't be naive and think there's not another purpose here as well. If you have large numbers of African American men and women not being able to vote, somebody benefits from that. That is, you know, that takes us, this is just part of the whole business of voter suppression. This is just another part of voter suppression. All right, I will do my view. My view is people serve the time. That's it. They have the right to vote, period.
If I could just follow up, Senator Sanders, thank you. You talk about people coming out and having the skills tangible in communities to kind of go back and be reacclimated. What do you think about people having their job skills that they get in jail being transferable once they get out?
Well, I think that's a very sensible idea. By the way, that's not only related to people in jail, it's very often related to people in the military, did you know? Same thing. Yeah, so the answer is absolutely yes. We want people to gain job skills, and they should be able to use those job skills on a resume, is what you're saying, when they get out of jail. Absolutely.
Sorry, and the education, because they're getting, yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. My wife, Jane, is here in the back. And you forgive me for telling you this story. We were in, I think, Sweden a number of years ago, and here's the difference in philosophy. What they do with people in jail, their goal is to make sure those people, when they're released, never get back in jail on vengeance. You made a mistake, we are going to punish you, and we're going to ruin your life. Okay? And that's absurd. It is absurd for so many ways. So the answer is obviously rehabilitation. Give people the education, the job skills they need, and hopefully when they leave jail, they'll never come back again.
All right, I want to make sure that we get this question out because I think it's particularly important in Minnesota, but there are issues of Native sovereignty. So if we're talking about, again, the issue of reparations, repaying a grievance that has taken place, and finding creative and direct solutions to fixing historical grievances. And can you say a little bit about your experience, both as a Black and Native person? And let's talk directly about Native-related issues for a moment.
Thank you for coming. We have another generation of Native children whose connections to their families and their tribes is being compromised. For example, in Minnesota, Native American children are 17 times more likely to be placed in foster care than white children. We need more than just jobs for our communities. Jobs alone cannot heal our communities. How will you invest in Natives, creating solutions for ourselves to heal from addiction, homelessness, sex trafficking, individual, generational, and historical trauma in our community?
Anybody who studies the history of our country knows that it has been a very rocky history. It has included the abomination of slavery. It has included horrendous attacks on the Native American community. All right, there's no ifs, buts, and maybes about that. And throughout this country, you are seeing rates of unemployment, alcoholism, drug addiction within the Native American community off of just outrageously high. I think what has to happen, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I have a magical solution, I don't, but here's what has to happen. Simply throwing federal money and federal bureaucrats at the problem probably is not going to work. What is going to work is a relationship between the federal government and the Native American communities by which the federal government provides resources, but the Native communities, Native American communities themselves work out the solutions that are most relevant to their particular needs. I was in Iowa, and there was a very beautiful community. People, fantastic school, cultural center. Different people approach things in different ways. But I would say that the best approach, in my experience in government, is not from a top-down process, but from a bottom-on-up process.
What is the difference between America doing that for the people that they kidnapped and taking the land from, and Germans paying $90 billion to survivors of the Holocaust?
So the question, I think, is not irrelevant. The question is about specific redress. In all sorts of communities and examples where there has been a historical trauma or an extraction of resources, World War II included, there was a specific redress, a very deliberate and specific redress. So I think part of the conversation needs to be, with all of these questions, what are the specific and deliberate solutions that are going to get to the trauma of the African American community? We're going to pivot on that point and talk about, Devon, you've done a lot of work on the environment, and we know, for example, we're not far from a Herc incinerator. People know what the Herc incinerator is? It's a garbage burner near downtown Minneapolis, and depending on the day, it is blowing a plume of toxic smoke over communities of color, including the building that we're sitting in right now. You've done a lot of work on environmental issues. With that framing and with that point of specific redress, specific reparations for policies, for investments that have been targeted at the African American community, do you have a question that gets to the heart of that?
Sure. So from Flint to North Minneapolis, Black, brown, and Native communities have been exposed to lead poisoning, toxic incinerators, food deserts, and many other things that cause social ills because of failures and greed of the local, federal, and state government. Frontline communities like Flint are in every state in the Union. How will you ensure communities are safe from these man-made health hazards like lead poisoning, air pollution, and food swamps before they become a national headline?
Good. Thank you. Your point is absolutely right. Just give you an example. I was a couple of months ago in a community in the great city of Baltimore, Maryland. I was in a neighborhood which had no grocery stores. No grocery stores. So if you wanted to pick up some fresh produce, meat, vegetables, that had no banks. It had payday lenders that charged people hundreds of interest rates of hundreds of percent. Here is one. But it's beyond belief. All right, so what do we need to do? Well, let me just deal with a few. In terms of this payday lender stuff, which is absolutely obscene. You know, every religion in the world, every religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, whatever the religion is, understands that usury is a sin. Do you know that? Usury is a sin. So I want to put these payday lenders out of business. And I'll tell you how you do it. Elizabeth Warren and I have worked on an idea that says that in communities throughout America, you got postal service, you got post offices. Post offices can be involved in basic banking. You can cash a check without having to pay outrageous interest rates. You can make a small deposit. But Devin, getting to your more important point, what we know is there are communities throughout this country, predominantly or most often African American or Latino, but not always, sometimes they're white as well, who have been poor for decades, who have never gotten the resources that we should. Federal money, those communities that have been poorest the longest, and make sure that they get the assistance that they need to get themselves up on their own 2 feet. Sort of like investing in the communities that need it the most. That's what we should be doing.
So I appreciate your response, but I'd like to ask the more direct question. How will you hold the corporations and untrustworthy government officials accountable for poisoning our communities?
I have asked for the resignation of Governor Snyder because his action has been so irresponsible that I think that really is what is called for. But your point is, it's not just Flint. It is communities all over this country, and it is primarily lower-income communities. You go to low-income communities, many of the children have asthma. Do you know that? Okay. Pardon me? Go ahead. No, take it.
My son has asthma. We live within a mile of that incinerator. And several times a year, we're in the doctor. He's on several steroids. He's a teenage boy who's probably underweight partially because of this, but he's very athletic, and it hurts my heart that one summer he was literally put on basically bed rest because his lungs weren't strong enough, and it's hard to get them strong when we've got garbage being burned in our backyard. So the question specifically, my black son, okay, I know you're scared to say black, I know you're scared to say reparations because it seems like every time...
Ma'am, I don't think that's a fair
I'll let you finish as well, but it seems like every time we talk about black people and us getting something, person of color. So today, can we please talk about specifically black people and reparations?
we can talk about what I just indicated, in my view, is that when you have, and you and I may have a disagreement on this, because it's not just black, it is Latino. There are areas in America, in poor rural areas, where it's whites. Okay? So I believe that in a country which has more income and wealth inequality than any other country, that yeah, the time is long overdue to start investing in poor countries. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of any major country on earth, especially within the African American community. So what I've said black 50 times. All right? That's the 51st time. All right? But this is a national issue. All right? So what we want and what I believe we should do, all right, is to invest most heavily in those communities most in need. And when you have 35% country in public schools on free or reduced lunches, when youth unemployment in the African American community is 51%, those are exactly the kinds of communities that you invest in.
All right. All right. All right. All right. So reparations, this room is clearly not afraid to talk about it. Specific redress. I want to get to as many questions as we can, and I know you're on limited time. Rod, you've worked with low-wage workers all throughout the state, throughout the metro area, a lot of young black workers. Do you have a question to ask the senator?
Yes, Senator Sanders. I do a bunch of work with low-wage workers, specifically in this community. Some of these workers are in this building, workers who have to wait 2 to 3 hours in a line at Target Field, not being paid, and not even sure if they were going to work that day. And they do this because maybe it's so hard for a black person to get a job in this economy. So my question is about reinvestment and eliminating institutional racism from corporations and the government. My question is, it is a historic fact that general improvement in economic conditions does not necessarily benefit black or Native communities. Socialist strategies have historically left large swaths of black and Native people behind. It was true of the New Deal, it was true of the GI Bill, and it was especially true of the Federal Housing Bill. Also, it was true of Obamacare, which was highly racialized. It was true of the response to the Great Recession, where, like, black folks never recovered. In Minnesota, as the white unemployment rate has dipped below 3%, the black unemployment rate has risen to higher than 14%. So I'm asking you, what specific affirmative and concrete steps will you take to ensure your $1 trillion federal investment strategy does not repeat the same mistakes of the past and entrench existing inequalities? Because not only do black lives matter, black jobs matter.
Can anyone deal with that light there? We lower that place or turn it. What Rod is talking about is that he's right. We have a $1 trillion investment program to rebuild the issues that you talked about, to transform our energy system away from garbage in low-income communities, all right, to making sure that we move, by the way, to clean, sustainable energies rather than fossil fuels, which also touches on the issue of climate change, which is a huge issue. But to answer your question, I think what the concern is, and I've heard it from many people in the African American community, and that is, well, it's great, states are going to get the money, but how do we know that it filters down to the people who need it the most? That's the question, basically? Yeah. Okay, and we will do that. Your point is well taken. I think in some states, money will, in fact, go where it's supposed to go, to those people most in need. In other communities, it absolutely will not. You have my word that we will guarantee that when we make a major investment about creating 13 million jobs over the next 5 years, rebuilding our infrastructure, that money will go into those communities who need it the most to rebuild their own communities. Okay, maybe one more question, Anthony.
We're on limited time. I want to ask, while we have folks in the room, we have a lot of All right, Clyde, if we do this, can we keep it sharp? Because we want to make sure. Say it again. If you can get it out now, we'll honor it. We are on native land after all, and we are going to honor, if you can honor the time that we have.
Justice, son. Bonjour. You got in the way we done in Disney cars, or Shishak, Todain, Anishinaabe, Okichida, Free Fire Society, gathered at the Sacred Pipe Sundance, American Indian Movement. My spirit name is Nagan the Way We Done. I am the thunder before the storm. My colonial name is Clyde Belcourt. I was given that at birth because when I was born, 79 years ago, we were forbidden by this government in collusion with the churches to speak our native tongue again. We were forbidden to pray, to sing, to dance. They've taken everything that they could from us since then. They've taken everything but our dignity and our pride. I am the founder and the national director of the American Indian Movement. It was founded right here in the city of Minneapolis when civil rights and human rights was strictly a black and white issue here in America. The Indian people were totally forgotten, like we didn't exist anymore. They thought John Wayne got all of us. George Armstrong Custer killed all of us. The United States government got rid of all of us, but we're still here. And I get angry. I get angry when I hear you and Hillary and Donald Trump and the rest of these right-wingers never saying a single word about what happened to the native people of this land. This is why the movement was formed. And this is my question. I went through a 9.5 month, the longest trial in the criminal history of the United States government to extinguish all native tribes in America in St. Paul, Minnesota, following the occupation of Wounded Knee. I was the man that led those people into Wounded Knee. Because we felt if we didn't stand up, what was right for Indian people, that we would surely perish as a people. And when that trial ended, we found out they would never, ever listen to our treaties because they didn't know nothing about them. White America's totally scholastically retarded when it comes to Indian people and our culture, tradition, our history.
Clyde, I love this. We gotta get to a question. Let's get to the question.
I got something to say, and I'm going to say it. If you have to carry me out of here, carry me out of here, because I'm going to speak, because I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of this bullshit. I've never heard, this is the first night I've heard anybody even mention the name Native people or Indians. And you know why? Because I'm here. They knew they had to say something.
So a question. What's the question, Clyde?
Here's my question.
Great.
We went to the United Nations. We're the only Indian organization that's militant, radical, terrorist organization that they try to call us. We're the first ones to give United Nations non-government organizational status. And we had to go. Platform is people are.
Okay.
It's not a platform.
Let's get to the question. Let's get to the question.
That's all over with, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Just get to the question.
Here's what I'm saying. We had to travel the whole United States, Canada, Central and South America, all the way to the southern tip. We had to go into the Congo in South Africa and meet with black people, tribal people.
Clyde, question. You got a question, bro? Question. Just ask the question.
My question is this.
Here we go.
After 30 years, listen to me, Ben. After 30 years, I work within the United Nations. The United Nations finally
Quiet,
signed the
quiet.
Declaration
Question, or we gotta move on?
of Rights for Indigenous People.
All right.
I want to know if you're going to honor those treaties. I want to know if you're, as president, if you become the president of the United States, are you going to honor the treaties made with Indian people?
There we go. Are you going to honor the treaties?
Are you going to honor the treaties?
The Native American people have gotten a terrible deal from the federal government. I will do everything I can to redress that, absolutely. Thank you all very much.
You can't answer the question. You still haven't answered the question.
So we're gonna end on that note. We want to thank you all for coming. It's an open-ended question. If we got our questions, all of our questions answered.
Custer killed all of us. The United States government got rid of all of us, but we're still here. And I get angry. I get angry when I hear you and Hillary and Donald Trump and the rest of these right-wingers never saying a single word about what happened to the native people of this land. This is why the movement was formed. And this is my question. I went through a 9.5 month, the longest trial in the criminal history of the United States government to extinguish all native tribes in America in St. Paul, Minnesota. Because we felt if we didn't stand up, what was right for Indian people, that we would surely perish as a people. And when that trial ended, we found out they would never, ever listen to our treaties because they didn't know nothing about them. White America's totally scholastically retarded when it comes to Indian people and our culture, tradition, our history.
Clyde, I love this. We got to get to the question. Let's get to the question.
I got something to say, and I'm going to say it. If you have to carry me out of here, carry me out of here, because I'm going to speak, because I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of this bullshit. I've never heard, this is the first night I've heard anybody even mention the name Native people or Indians. And you know why? Because I'm here. They knew they had to say something.
So a question. What's the question, Clyde?
Here's my question.
Great.
We went to the United Nations. We're the only Indian organization that's militant, radical, terrorist organization that they try to call us. We're the first ones to give United Nations non-government organizational status. And we had to go. Platform is people are.
Okay.
It's not a platform.
Let's get to the question. Let's get to the question.
That's all over with, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Just get to the question.
Here's what I'm saying. We had to travel the whole United States, Canada, Central and South America, all the way to the southern tip. We had to go into the Congo in South Africa and meet with black people, tribal people.
Clyde, question. You got a question, bro. Question. Just ask the question.
My question is this.
Here we go.
After 30 years, listen to me, Ben. After 30 years, I work within the United Nations. The United Nations finally signed the Declaration
we got to move on.
of Rights for Indigenous People.
All right.
I want to know if you're going to honor those treaties. I want to know if you're, as president, if you become the president of the United States. Are you going to honor the treaties made with Indian people?
There we go. Are you going to honor the treaties?
Are you going to honor the treaties?
The Native American people have gotten a terrible deal from the federal government. I will do everything I can to redress that, absolutely. Thank you all very much.
You can't answer the question. You still haven't answered the question.
So we're gonna end on that note. We want to thank you all for coming. It's an open-ended question. If we got all of our questions answered.
The Declaration of Rights
to be continued. The campaign trail continues. The conversation continues. Thank you all for coming.
Someone so picked on you. Oh, oh, hey, that's far out. So you heard him too. Oh, oh, switch on the TV. We may pick him up on channel
Check. Microphone check. What's up, everybody? This is Nico. And as you just witnessed, that was the Black America Community Forum here at Patrick Henry High School. People are exiting stage left. No. People are exiting right now. You did sort of see the event sort of end up on a sort of a weird type of energy. A lot of prevalent questions were asked. Hold on a second. So, but beyond that, this was Bernie Sanders. You saw Bernie Sanders speak. He gave a speech in the beginning. After that speech, he sat with the community panel. The community panel specifically talked about specific questions that they each one had. And we have some interviews that we're going to do. And so we are going to do that in a minute. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Again, thank you so much for watching. We got Danielle, who's about to host in a few. And we'll talk to you in a minute.
Hey, this is Danielle again reporting with Unicorn Riot. I'm standing here with Felicia Perry, I'm sorry. She was on today's panel and she addressed Bernie Sanders and asked him why she actually directed a comment toward him and said that he was afraid to say the words black and say the words reparation. How did you devise that opinion?
Well, it just seemed like, well, this is specifically a rally about black people and reparations, and every time we would ask him a specific question about our community, it seemed like he felt compelled to wrap every person of color or every, low income, which is really interesting because he's associating black people with low income, so that bothered me a bit too. But I just really feel like the time has come in this country where black people can talk about black issues and not be forced to wrap every person of color into it. We did not do that with the Japanese. They certainly didn't do it with Jewish people who are not a specific ethnicity. But now when it comes time for black people to address our issues, I just really felt like it was important to say that. Why don't you say black people? Why don't you say reparations, since that's what we're here talking about? So I just thought it was important to point that out, and so that other people knew that we on the panel saw that as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Felicia. There was also a moment when the crowd had actually addressed Bernie Sanders and asked, because he was answering a lot of questions, and to a lot of questions where he was being asked how, he didn't state how he would go about, fulfilling or fulfilling the promises that he's making, I guess. So do you feel like, as a panelist, like your questions were answered directly?
I feel like he's a great politician, and like all politicians, he will answer a question without necessarily always answering it. I feel like it was difficult and it's challenging in a forum like this to get someone to answer something directly. One of my big issues is accountability. So he makes these promises, even if he gets this stuff passed, like we know with the Equal Opportunity Act and different things like that, where we end up with white women benefiting from affirmative action more than black people. then in situations like that, I really want to know how himself and other people in local agencies are going to be held accountable. For example, in Flint, the federal government said, hey, this is a man-made thing. It's not a national disaster. So we're not going to handle this. We're not going to help. So I want to know who wants to help. Who's going to find reasons to help these communities? Who's going to find reasons to help the black community?
Right, exactly, including this community where
Absolutely.
your son
This specific
suffers
community.
from asthma in a community where we are incinerating garbage.
Right, literally in our backyard. We live we live within a mile of that incinerator. I can see the smoke from my backyard.
Right.
And it makes it hard to even see the stars at night. That's how disgustingly dirty it is. And so my son's not the only one with asthma. There are many children in North Minneapolis who suffer from asthma, and a lot of our parents, it doesn't even click to us that there's like garbage burning in the backyard, and that could be a reason why. And so a lot of things like with even that Devon brought up about health, about not having, I think it's a lot about access too. So like a lot of it is like, I wanted to know from him specifically, how will you invest those trillions of dollars you keep talking about into the black community? And that was something that I found challenging to get out of him. I would really, so we can have a second round and delve a little deeper. So, but
yeah, did you feel like he was kind of hurried to get out of here?
Well, definitely at the end. We knew that he was like on a
tight schedule.
A tight schedule.
He's got to go meet with a thing with Hillary.
Yeah, some little dinner or something that Hillary didn't. She couldn't stop by here, and they could roll together. They could. Yeah, it did feel rushed, especially at the end. We knew that there was a time constraint, so we tried to be as clear and concise about our questions, but I just feel like when it's rushed like that, he doesn't even really have the time to really sort of think deeply about these. I felt like he picked up on buzzwords, and then he kind of spewed what he had already practiced with, like his speechwriter.
Absolutely, totally. I did hear a lot of repetition from what he gave us tonight, so I'm with you. I hope that he's able to come back out here and readdress this, or readdress it in some other black community.
Yeah.
But thank you, Felicia, so much for your time.
Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
I love Unicorn Riot, by the way.
Woo! Yes, thank you. So yes, this is Danielle Green again with Unicorn Riot. Remember, we are a commercial-free, nonprofit alternative media. Please go to our website and just donate, because that's the only way we're able to bring you guys this stuff. Nonprofit, commercial-free. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to run. It's been a busy day for everybody.
Danielle again. I'm here with Monique. She's the aunt of Marcus Golden, who was shot dead by police officers in St. Paul, Minnesota. Monique, how did you feel about the forum today?
I think some of the questions weren't quite answered. He was a little off. He lost focus. It's like if you were in school writing an essay and they say, well, you talked about this, but you didn't really answer the question. So I didn't think he was quite on point. I love theoretically, I like what he was saying, but I don't think he quite answered some of the questions. I would like to hear a little more clarity about, the prison reform. I think it's time to get just beyond talking about prison reform and talking about prison transformation, where people be changed. There's so many more things that are wrong with the prison system than just needing to have a skill. These people need to be safe while they're in prison. They need to have security and peace of mind in order to be able to be productive when they get out, because there's just certain things you need to function properly. So there's some basic things that they're not getting in prison as well that need to be addressed. I really liked what he had to say about education. In terms of, we should all be able to go to college for free. That shouldn't be a barrier. Absolutely. So overall, I think, it was good. I was glad I was able to be here and see it, and I'm so thankful for everyone who worked hard to organize it. And Unicorn Riot, always glad to see you guys everywhere doing your thing.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Monique. So do you think, now he's headed to St. Paul right now for something that he's got going on with Hillary Clinton, and there's supposed to be some protesting out there. Do you think that like he should he should have stayed here? He was very, very rushed. Do you think he should have stayed here to finish addressing the concerns of this community, or do you think that his presence is at Dyer where he needs to be?
They would have waited for him. He could have stayed, but I don't think it helped that we couldn't get the mic back to finish the questioning as well. So we understand it's a tight schedule that he's on, and we have to, we can go on his website and look at other things and find out what some of his thoughts are. I think I had a clear view kind of what his style is in terms of answering questions and clarity for me, which kind of helped me understand his style a little more.
So you feel like maybe he wasn't as direct as he could have been with some of his answers?
He just wasn't on point. Not necessarily that he was avoiding the question. It was just kind of like, maybe it's like, I feel like he needed to have it written down where he could write it, look at it and see, okay, oh, this is what the question is. Let me answer this point. Let me get to this next point. That, or perhaps he really didn't have, a real strong answer for it.
Right. Right. And as a woman of color, do you feel like your trust level has gone up, or how was your trust level affected by today's forum on Black America?
Trusting in him as possibly being the president is the question?
Yeah.
If he were elected, I think that he would do great. I think it would be difficult for him if he's going up against Donald Trump. I think Hillary Clinton is just sharp. She has all of her numbers and statistics down, whereas today, he was saying, oh, there's a whole lot more here. He didn't have the details, the numbers and the statistics that I would like to know that he's got in his head so that he can handle a debate and be really sharp with it. But in theory, I think his heart's in the right place. I think he's definitely for social justice, and I would really like to see him, advance and move forward. I think he just needs to sharpen up some of those skills.
Well, I heard you bring up Hillary Clinton, and I just want to address this really quick, and we'll let you get on with your business, Monique. Thank you so much for giving us this interview. But how do you feel about the fact that Hillary Clinton is here in Minnesota right now, but she failed to or neglected to attend this event, a forum on the state of Black America?
Now, was she was invited to be here?
I can't say that on the record.
Right, so I don't know. If she was invited to be here and she chose not to, I think she should present a good reason why. It would have been great to have her here, but I think we would have needed more time also for two of them. I don't think we've had enough time with Bernie Sanders, so for both of them to have been here, I would have liked to have had more time, and I think we're worth the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully, Hillary, Bernie, if you guys are watching, you guys are able to make it back to Minnesota because you've got some constituents that really want to hear from you. Thank you so much, Monique. Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too.
Yeah. Hi, you guys. Thanks again so much for tuning in today. I want to remind you guys again that we are a alternative media company. We're a nonprofit, and we do not air commercials for your benefit. So please contribute if you're able. $1, $2, $5 if you can. That would make all the difference. I do have one more interview coming up here. This is the operations director at Neighborhoods Organizing for Change. That is the nonprofit that put on the forum for the nonprofit that put on today's forum. I'm sorry, she's walking up to me and I'm getting all nervous because she's so beautiful and she's saying today she's like a star. No, I'm sorry, Malia. Why did NOC step up to the plate and put on this forum, or were you guys asked by the Sanders campaign? Can you let us know just a little bit about how today came together?
So Danielle, like you said, I'm the operations side of NOC, so I'm not central to a lot of the programs or the organizing. But from what I know, I believe that we were approached by the Sanders camp just in discussing kind of what issues were central to our movement, to our community, to our members, and that kind of grew into having some type of conversation, not necessarily just with Bernie Sanders, but with whoever, with him, Hillary Clinton, really having a centralized conversation on the Black issues. And whether we were going to have a candidate here or not, it's definitely needed for us to talk about what is affecting us right now. And if that means we have a panel of leaders and we discuss solutions, solutions and what we need to do in the political realm, then that's what we do. We were fortunate enough that Bernie was willing to come and talk and listen to our concerns and answer direct questions. And so I'm just thankful that the organization team at NOC with Anthony, with Mike, with Tana, were able to put this together for our community and bring Bernie Sanders to North Minneapolis.
Absolutely. Like I was saying a minute ago, I hope they were able to get them back in town. Jumping into another quick question, Hillary Clinton is in the state of Minnesota right now. Do you know if she was invited to today's forum?
She was. As far as I know, she was invited. She wasn't able to come.
She wasn't able to come, but she is here. All right, well, that's speaks for itself. And last question for you, Malia. Do you feel that the questions that the community posed to Bernie Sanders today were answered directly?
I think from what I've seen from a lot of political candidates, it was more direct than I've seen in the past. However, I think he could have been more. I think he could have been more direct. But I do want to point out the precedence of actually being able to ask direct questions about Black, Native questions were asked as well. Issues face-to-face with community members who are actually dealing with it. So I mean, just having that access for our community, I think, is historical. So I mean, I have to give props to everyone that involved, Bernie, the team, the community that came out. I think it was a beautiful example of like what we need to be doing at the political process is bringing it to the people in the places that need representation the most.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Malia. From me, Unicorn Riot, you guys always do such a great such a great job of making sure that the organizations in this community are where they need to be when events like this happen. So Unicorn Riot, we broadcast all kinds of things right here in the state of Minnesota. We want to thank NOC for always putting us on the job.
Thank you, Unicorn Riot. You guys are dope. You do great work.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
and thank you so much for this forum.
Yes.
Yeah, have a good night. Hey, again, you guys, that was Malia with Neighborhoods Organizing for Change. They're responsible for sponsoring this awesome event where we got to hear from one of the two Democratic presidential nomination candidates. Unfortunately, Hillary declined to be here. We did hear from Bernie Sanders. Some of his constituents feel like he was not as direct as he could have been. But I think we're going to start breaking down here. It's clearing out. You guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, please donate on unicornriot.ninja. Just kidding. It looks like we've got the president of Neighborhoods Organizing for Change coming up here in a second, Mr. Anthony Newby. We have to get that exclusive, right? Just a moment. It looks like it's going to be a second before we can actually get Mr. Newby up here. He's being pulled in a lot of different directions right now. So I'll just really quick recap sort of what happened here today. We heard from a number of Minneapolis residents asking Bernie Sanders about how he plans to carry out the different promises that he's made throughout his campaign thus far. Unfortunately, a lot of his constituents felt like he did not answer the questions directly. At one moment, there was even echoes from the crowd asking how. Unfortunately, he a lot of times wasn't able to answer, and he seemed pretty rushed. But here we have Mr. Anthony Newby coming up right now, so we'll get a really quick exclusive with him. How awesome. Hello, Mr. Newby. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for talking with Unicorn Riot. We saw you up there. Thank you so much for putting on this fantastic event. Again, this is Anthony Newby. He is the president of Neighborhoods Organizing for Change. They are the nonprofit organization that's responsible for bringing you this wonderful, auspicious event.
And this is my son.
This is his son. Hi.
What's your name?
Marcus Newby. Marcus Newby. Thank you so much for being here with us too, Marcus. Anthony, let me ask you, why did you feel it was important for us to get the presidential candidates here to address the Black community?
Well, it's very rare presidents come to North Minneapolis in Henry High School, the heart of North Minneapolis, site of the broadest disparity gaps in the state, some of the worst disparity gaps in the country. So to get any presidential candidate to address very difficult questions about race, not just aspirational, the economy, socialism, we need to all do better. This was intended to be a conversation with folks who are putting real questions about what does it mean for me
even if the economy does improve, historically we don't improve. What is your strategy to do that? And I think it was an important conversation.
Absolutely. Now, as the president, I'm not sure how much you had your hand in the selection process for picking the panelists, but if you can share with us a little bit about how those selections were made.
That's a great question. So we deliberately said, oftentimes events like this, it would be the president of the this and that, or the top muckety muck of the this and that. This was very deliberately community folks who we knew were dealing with everyday issues. The entrepreneur who's trying to, who's creative and brilliant, but is trying to figure out how to get a business off the ground in the black community. It's folks that work on environmental issues that are impacted by air quality. While they're trying to improve things, they're getting poisoned by the air and the water. You heard Devon talk about Flint and make a very real connection between the water crisis in Flint and the air quality in North Minneapolis. Those are real things that she's living, that we're living in real time. So it was an effort to get real folks and not just the sort of the senior staff at an organization or the typical leaders, but real people. Yes. That was the goal, and hopefully it played out well.
Yeah, I think that was fantastic. I definitely think that you executed that well. I think that was a really good, distinguished panel of guests or speakers. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like Mr. Sanders answered those questions directly? Because I know that at some points there were howls from the crowd, asking how. They wanted him to be a little bit more direct. How do you feel he did as far as fielding the questions of the panelists?
Well, first of all, it's a tough crowd. I mean, you're dealing with some of the most dynamic of goods for decades and decades, so it's not an easy room for any politician, so I'll say that first and foremost. And I think he stood there and took it and did his best to answer them as deliberately as he could. That being said, I think all candidates, including Bernie Sanders, there's a lot of tightening up they can do on this issue of reparations and deliberate reinvestment, acknowledging that there is historical precedent for extracting resources from the black community that goes way, way back. And folks mentioned even in the crowd and on the panel, the GI Bill, the New Deal, even Obamacare, these big, broad, sort of socialist aspirational goals that when you dig a little deeper, you find that it's actually, if not harming black folks, it's certainly not deliberately intended to benefit black folks. And so the real question is, what makes his $1 trillion investment strategy different?
Yeah.
I think he answered that to a degree with the criminal justice questions and saying and acknowledging that there's a real problem and a need for specific solutions. But I think all the candidates, including Bernie, need to tighten up on what is the deliberate mechanism, what is the policy, what is the lever the button that they're going to push to make sure that $1 trillion ends up in the hands of the people who need it.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was a fantastic answer. One more question for you, and then I'll let you go and do what you need to do. I think your son, you're getting a little bit antsy, ready to get out of here. Marcus. Okay. My last question for you, Mr. Newby. Okay, I know that you and your organizers are down at City Hall quite a bit. What would a Democratic Socialist president do for you, when you're having those long days at City Hall and the Capitol?
So it's a great question, and again, I'm not a politician. We're organizers, and our goal is to put these issues out and help the crowd to shape policies. But look, we're not running for president. It is the job of the folks who have put themselves in that position to come up with hard shell solutions to some of the country's most pressing issues. But look, when it comes to housing, figuring out how are you going to route some of this $1 trillion again to real strategies to get it into the hands of folks who historically have been locked up because of bad credit or whatever the systemic barrier is, or because they have a part-time job and not a full-time job through no fault of their own because they're black or Latino. And so there has to be hard solutions for, here's a bucket of money, but what am I going to do to create alternate credit strategies so folks can access it, to address folks who are trying to start a small business like Felicia, to say you shouldn't be barred from getting a loan because you have been struggling to get your business off the ground for 5 or 10 years. We can reinvest some of this money to say, hey, you come from a community that historically has not had a chance.
So we're going to eliminate some of those barriers to filling out a stack of paperwork this tall, to having to get multiple permits just to get another permit. For folks who are just trying to eke out a living, some of those barriers could and should be eliminated. And we need a candidate who's going to say, I'm going to remove those barriers and route some of these resources your way. Some of that happened tonight, but I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done.
Most definitely. Well, thank you, Mr. Newby, for answering all of our questions. I think that you did a fantastic job answering them. I think that you and your team did a fantastic job putting on this forum. I, for one, am appreciative, but we won't take any more of your night. You and Marcus, you guys go and have a fantastic night.
What'd you think?
You tell me what you thought of the forum.
I got really tired.
Well, yeah, hopefully they come back so the next time you don't get tired. When you're not tired, you can ask them the hard questions.
Who are you voting for?
Right?
I'm not telling you.
Fair enough.
There you go. We don't know Marcus's vote yet. Maybe he'll have it figured out by the end of the election. Figured out by the end of the election period.
Thank you all. Unicorn
Campaign.
Ride, love you all. Keep up the great work, live streaming all around the world.
Thank you, Mr. Newby. You guys have a good night. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're so glad we were able to get that exclusive with Mr. Anthony Newby, the president of Neighborhoods Organizing for Change. You guys have had a chance to hear from a lot of the different constituents here for Bernie Sanders, and you also now know that Hillary Clinton declined her invitation to attend a forum to address Black America. Again, this is Danielle with Unicorn Riot, your nonprofit alternative media. We have no commercials, just for you guys. So please do donate so we can continue to bring you live footage of these fantastic events.
Yeah, stay here.
I'm staying again.
Yeah, we're staying. So we just want to reiterate, we got this out to you all, thankfully, but it took us about 5, 6, 7, 10 ninjas in different cities across the United States. So the point of that all is, we're all volunteer. We all are doing this for the betterment of getting the independent alternative media to you, to the viewers, and we rely on your support. From there, we will be able to upgrade all of what we do and get to more places where we want to go and where you want us to go. So anyways, just dropping that out there. It took a lot to make this happen, and we thank all of our people on this end to make it happen, and we thank Danielle for hosting.
Yeah, thanks.
And we thank all of everybody to being here, man. It was great.
Oh, and tune in to Perspective soon. I've got my talk show coming. Not my show. Me and a number of other unicorns will be bringing you a new talk show where women discuss the current hot topics and the ways that they affect women. We hope to see you guys around for that because it's been in the works for a little while now, and we're really excited about it. It's finally coming to fruition and almost ready for us to bring it to you, to your living rooms.
Super exciting, and that's another project that's going to be live to you on our live channel, on the live.
Pre-recorded.
Yes, that's true. The show will be pre-recorded, and then it'll air live on the live stream. Thank you. It'll air live on the live stream. Thank you for clarification. Also, bring it back, deprogram. I don't know if any of you know that we're in the 28th, 29th episode, and we're going to be coming back soon. So thank you so much for waiting and staying patient and with us and taking it, because we're going to come back harder than we ever have with deprogram. So it'll be dope, and thank you all so much again for tuning in. Again, reiterate, we're a nonprofit organization, 501c3. Any tax, any donation is tax deductible. And yeah, thank you so much.
UnicornRiot.ninja, sponsor us link. Or support us link. Support us link.
Support us link. Support our work. Yes. So beyond that, catch us. We're going to be continuing the live stream. We might be around tomorrow at the Broken Hearts event. And so stay focused, stay tuned to our live stream and to our website. As you said, UnicornRiot.ninja. And thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys have a great night. Signing off.
This is Nico. That's Danielle.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Nico reporting back from. Hey, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Check.
It's gonna be awesome. So, looking for.
You're under arrest. I'm oppressed, sir. I'm oppressed. Military, police, feed the beast.
Are you filming now, friend? Check out more of our media, go to unicornriot.ninja.
Your attention, please. I'm Lieutenant Hall from the Minneapolis Police Department. This push is located at 1925 Fifth Avenue South, including the surrounding grassy area, sidewalks, and streets, is interfering with the safe operation of this building and obstructing the street and sidewalk. You're hereby ordered to leave this area. Please disperse immediately and quickly. Those of you who do not leave will be subject to arrest for obstructing the legal process. You have 10 minutes to disperse and will exit on Morgan Avenue.
Check the tents, but...
This is dispersal order. So have your attention, please. I'm Lieutenant Chris from the Minneapolis Police Department. This is a non-lawful assembly. You need to exit this area. If you're going to leave, you need to move to the east. These are Morgan.
Has one been arrested?
Gotta go. Take your hands off me. I haven't done anything.
You know that y'all were slave catchers. That's how this started.
That's the legacy of the police. That's the legacy you'll leave in prison.
Is guilty as hell.
You're under arrest. Move, you'll be under arrest.
I wouldn't even fucking have this pulse if you guys are fucking shooting us in the fucking street, and we wouldn't have to fucking be out here.
I can't believe you guys destroyed a place that fed people every day, 24/7. Clothed people who needed clothes, gave food to people who needed food, gave coats to people who needed coats, and y'all destroyed it. Homeless people stayed here and stayed warm, and found people to support them, and you guys destroyed it.
All you do is destroy the joy that we create. All we're doing is trying to live. Can we fucking live?
Those aren't even our property. They're not your fucking property either. How do you just destroy other people's property with no remorse?
It's like a reiteration of like cops destroying black communities. It's like we're seeing that firsthand. We're seeing the community that we built with our hands because of their destruction being destroyed by MPD.
have made, set, and established historical records. Let's not forget this. Who's the real victorious ones in this? And that's us.
We are here to protest against all the racial disparities that exist in Minnesota, as well as the police excessive force across the country. We want to see our human rights acknowledged and practiced by the police department. We want equal protection under the law.
Shut the gate. We're going to shut the gate.
Lock the gate. No, I'm locking the gate. How can you? Is there another way you can get back here?
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
We want it to end, and it will not end without police accountability. As long as police are not prosecuted, as long as police are protected under the law, they will continue to kill us. We want them to stop killing us. It just brought out what we knew already existed, so it's not a problem. We know it's there, and it's there for people to see. We need to stand up for ourselves. We need to stand up for those voices that have been silenced by the police, for those who are in their graves. We are speaking for them as well. So we need to be here. So we'll take whatever backlash happens, and we're going to keep continuing to protest until we get the changes we need to see.
We're in South Minneapolis, and this is the Minnesota student walkout. You hear the students in the background. They're middle school students and high school students all across the Twin Cities who have walked out of class, walked out of their respective schools, organized it throughout their school to walk out on May Day in solidarity with Black Lives Matter with demands for bettering the classroom, having more African American history in classrooms, stopping suspensions, and having alternatives to suspensions, as well as other demands. And so what you see is a mass of students, and these are, like I said, 6th grade and up to 12th grade. There's a barbecue out here, and there's a massive mobilization of students from across the Twin Cities metro area that are out here against police brutality and screaming for Black Lives Mattering.
I think that we organize this in a kid's way to show that we care too,
and that we cannot have violence going on, because people are really underestimating black people, and we really want to come show them that we can actually not, go with them stereotypes.
And we can get together and represent ourselves.
Since we, African American, all the police look at us the same because we all one color, and I feel like we all have a different personality and we all stand out in a certain way, and I feel like we shouldn't be judged by our color and how we look.
Right. I'm Helene. Hey, Mom.
My name's Takaja. I go to North High School, and I feel like they allowing history to repeat itself, and this just got to stop. This got to stop right now.
Don't cry.
But we go to North. We go to North High.
I'm from Benilde St. Margaret's, and we talked to our principal to organize this, and she let us have a couple students to come out here, and we just wanted to stand in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, especially in times like these when our brothers, our fathers, our sons are being slaughtered on the streets and there's no justice for them. There has to be justice for them, and if you guys aren't going to give it to us, we're going to walk out of schools, we're going to keep protesting until we get the justice that we deserve.
And I'm a law school student at University of St. Thomas School of Law. I'm really just here to encourage and support these young students. The youth has always been in the front of the movements and changing and producing justice, so it's just so great to see these young kids out here and they care about their lives and they're telling you that they matter. They're telling you that. I was just talking to a young black male, like, he he doesn't feel like America, they really value his life. When he sees police officers just getting off the hook for killing young black males, that's telling him, you could shoot me, you could kill me, you could lock me up, mass incarceration, war on drugs, you can do whatever you want. You can put me in bad educational systems that's not supporting me, that's not stimulating me, that's not setting me up to succeed in life, and you could just run all over me. You look at what's happening in Baltimore right now. Baltimore has been off the chains. Baltimore has been in a devastating situation and nobody cared. But as soon as they could paint black people as animals, now everybody want to take their cameras to Baltimore. Don't care when you can paint us as the evil villains. Care when we're really struggling. Care because these young black men are angry and they don't have jobs. They don't have an education. They don't have anything. Care about that. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I just wanted to say something about the riots that's happening in Baltimore. Although that's not my method of dealing with this, I don't think that any of us can sit here and judge them and say that what they're doing is necessarily wrong. Because like Martin Luther King said, riots is the language of the unheard. And these people have not been heard. We have not been heard. And so if they have to burn down buildings for people to finally hear them, that's what they're gonna do. You know, and I feel like here, especially, I go to a predominantly white school, and I'm one of a couple black students there. And just going to a predominantly white school, I feel unsafe sometimes because I'm targeted. A couple weeks ago, we put out an article being black at BSM, and there was a lot of white students that said that our feedback from being black at BSM was negative and not the truth. And I just feel unsafe if I'm in a situation where people are telling me that me being black, what I'm saying, the negative things that have happened to me are not true. So I think as white allies or as other people, if you're not a person of color, you can still stand with us and at least believe what we're saying and stand next to us, because if we can't do it by ourselves. We need the white allies, we need everyone to stand with us, because it's not just a black issue, it's an American issue.
And we're here supporting the people. One main reason is because we are scared that Latinos are the next one. And like our director, Miss Norma, has taught us, we are all leaders, you know. And one day, if we get shot, then that leader is gone. You know, we're trying to make a difference in the world. We're trying to send a message that we're human. We're human beings and we deserve respect. No matter what color you are, what race you are, or where you come from, you know. You have the right, you know, you are human. You deserve the best, and we're here to support these people. Thank you.
I just want to say, shout out to El Colegio, our school, over the Jaguars.
All life matters. Remember that.
Miss Norma, this one goes for you.
Yeah,
you have created leaders, and here they are. Leaders of tomorrow, leaders of the future.
So why is it important for the youth to be the leaders, and why is it important now for the youth to understand this into the future?
Because you know how stereotypes say that students don't matter, that someday students won't, you know, like statistics say Latinos don't get to college, you know, black people don't get to where they want to be, like they don't support us. So we are sending the message that we are understanding that we are young leaders, and we are here to make a change. We are the future. We are the future of this earth, and we're gonna make a change no matter what happens.
Period. That's it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yeah.
If we don't do this, who will? It's up to us to make our own future.
And a change in this future.
What channel is this going to be? So this is going to be on unicornriot.ninja. All right. We're live streaming right now. Is there anything you want to say about the police brutality that's continuing to happen?
Are we next? That's the question. Are we next?
Using their weapons, you know, they have a weapon for one reason, and that is if they think they're in danger, then they can use it. But if they see a black person, they will think they're in danger just because it's of color, you know, and that is not fair. You know, the only way they shouldn't even have guns at all. You know, they should have the tasers or like, you know, talk. You know, communication is the best weapon that you have. You know, and then with that, you know, you can make a difference. You can stop killing all these innocent people for no reason. You can stop it all, you know, and it needs to stop now.
I'm here because, you know, my life matters as much as everybody else's lives matter. Black Lives Matter. That's why I'm here, because it's important.
What school did you come here from, and how did you guys get organized to come here?
I actually actually came from Simney High School, and I try to organize as many students as I can from Simney High School. I know I've been working with students from St. Paul who also organized this and was coming to this. So I organized like a couple of kids from high school, invited them on Facebook, and hope for the best and see if they showed up. So, yep.
So what was the origination of the ask? Why were you asking people to come out? Why were you organizing this?
Because I felt like it was important. I felt like people, especially youth, feel like they have no voice, and this comes to show that we have a voice that's big, and you know, all these people care. It's beautiful. Everybody's coming out to support because everybody is here for the same reason, same supporting reason. So I thought I'd try to start a movement at my school to make sure people knew it was important and how important it was.
So we hear today some of the officers in the Freddie Gray murder have been charged, not only indicted with crimes, but charged with the crimes. How do you feel that would make people feel, and what do you feel justice is when it comes to police brutality?
I mean, that's one officer down. I feel like we got many of them to go that haven't been, you know, convicted of crimes. So we got one good thing, but we need the rest of them to be.
So what would justice look like to you?
That's a hard question. Like Black unity, people coming together, doing something peaceful, and like making changes throughout the communities, making changes throughout within ourselves too. Bettering our schools, making our own schools, probably, you know, education systems, maybe, you know, including. I don't know how to explain all my thoughts at once, but you know. Yeah, that's what I got.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Support, because all lives matter, so that's it.
Beauty and power change. And we're middle school kids? Yeah, and I like to say that what they're doing right here, is what we put together. Literally, okay, so me and Ibrahim, we're in our respective groups, and what we did was, we just asked a bunch of high schoolers to come and like contribute in our chants.
So Barton's a middle school, not a high school?
No, it's not even a high school.
And so you guys had a plan and you went to high schoolers, and then what?
And then we asked them if they can chant with us, and they said yes. And we said we were gonna start in 15 minutes, and we did. And we got all these people to contribute with us. So we are like really thankful for everyone here to contribute their voices and the people who and the people from Barton School who refused to protest are out there now protesting.
Really? So you guys, how were you able to talk the people who were refusing to protest into protesting?
Because me and Ibrahim told them, we told them, we told them that if we're trying to have our voices heard, being quiet isn't gonna do it.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that really, if we're trying to get our word across, being silent isn't gonna do it.
Get your word across about what?
About the people. Oh, you can say it. About like he can say it. All right, he's about to say it. About the people who are dying and the cops who just shoot them and get no charges at whatsoever.
Yeah, no charges at all. Like Eric Gardner and Michael Brown.
Okay. And the person who got shot 9 times by the police, and they had the audacity to handcuff him.
Black lives matter! 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 Black lives matter!
All this needs to stop, and thank God everybody came out here today to do this for us.
I want to interview.
Yeah, what school are you from? What do you want to say?
I go to PYC, and I don't like y'all killing the black community.
Hey, that rhymes. Hey, how did you guys organize within PYC to come out here?
Hey, fam, we just gang. I'm just playing. I don't gang bang. But
we from North of PYC.
Yep. Who organized within PYC to get everybody
the students.
How did you do it?
Okay. We just walked out of school. At what time? 10:30. We up early.
It's the reason we doing this, though. It's the reason we doing. We not just doing this to get out of school, man. This is ridiculous. This is what we see on the news, but this still goes on every day.
So
why was it organized?
Because we need to stop this.
Hey, rallies do something, so we need to do something. That's the only thing we can do. Then we gonna do it.
Yep.
Gotta do something.
How did you hear about what's going on here? How did you get here? And how was the organization that happened in your school to create your school doing a walkout?
I heard by a flyer. We put flyers up
up around our school. I got here because we organized like little pods that would drive each other and had like drivers and stuff. And organization was good. I mean, we gathered in front of our school first to go, and then we just said, hey, we had a list of demands and stuff too. And we just said, hey, let's go protest. Let's go see what we can do to make a difference in the world.
Students from across the metro area have walked out of their classrooms, walked out of their high schools, walked out of their college classrooms into King Park to funnel the same thought: Black Lives Matter. UnicornRiot.ninja. Go there, pull up an extra tab on your phone, pull up an extra tab on your computer, and check out UnicornRiot.ninja. We're here to catch Black Liberation Project's vigil, honoring black women and those who have been stolen by the police. Right now what we're seeing is community dialogue on why women's lives matter and the problems that women are facing when it comes to police brutality. We have just left the Black Women Matter vigil, and right now the community is setting up alongside the street as well as going across the overpass. We are going up to the bridge walkway, and you see the community is out here. And then if you can pan down, if you can look back here, you see the communities out here. While in the back of us, we're hearing the victims of police brutality being read off and chanted. We're with a community member, and we're coming down from the bridge at the Black Women Matter Vigil. And can you tell us what your name is and what's going on here?
My name is Kristen. I'm here to support black women like myself and the young students that I work with on a daily basis, because every time a black man is killed, there's lots of protests, lots of rallies, but when we're talking about black women, people don't turn out.
So right now we're walking up to Lindell Avenue, and this visual has turned into actual action that's possibly going to be taking the intersection. Black women matter. Black women matter. You see the police coming out here. So right now, you see the crowd, and if you come up here, we have a frontline view of the Black Lives Matter. You see traffic right up here. People are getting a little antsy, and they're trying to figure out where they can go. And we have this right here. We have a guy in a Audi is trying to go through us right now. You see, it's sort of a tense scene. You see the police are coming up here, and now he's backing himself up, and he's getting ushered away, and we're back to the issue at hand: black women mattering. We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains, is what they're saying.
Duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win.
Look back, the march is starting to move along the sidewalk down Oak Grove Street. And if you can look over this way, we got the bridge with the basilica in the background. And so that bridge is what we were on before, and what we will probably go back on. There's a lot of people clapping on the side, a lot of people raising their fists. You see right here, she was just walking across the street. A couple minutes later, she's screaming, "Black Women Matters." You want to say a couple words about what's going on?
Say a couple words?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now we're out here to uplift black women, our lives, our voices. They're often forgotten in this narrative. We're dying too, we're being brutalized too, so we're going to be out here to uplift our sisters' names. I represent the Black Liberation Project, or at least a portion of it. We work to hold direct actions to bring, essentially, especially white people in the cities and outside of it.
We have seen a good mobilization. Nessa is thanking us and about to close us out. Right now you see the circles forming. First circle is black women only, and the second circle is everybody who's not black women, and it's going to be at the supportive circle.